Chair, who is unable to attend this morning. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to call for a motion to go around the room and, well, first of all, we'll go around the room and introduce ourselves. So I'm Barbara Hazelden. I'm the citizen appointee from the Pinellas County Commission. Brad, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, good morning. My name is Brad Miller. I'm the CEO of PSTA.
Good morning, Mike DeBreezy, Commissioner of City of Largo.
Morning, Max McCann, citizen appointee of St. Petersburg.
Thank you. Before we begin, can I have a motion to allow Commissioner,
Share.
Chris Shear, I'm sorry. Hey, I only found out about 2 minutes ago.
Doing fine.
Okay,
Yeah, that's all.
so I'll recover here. So Chris, we'd like to have a motion to have Chris Shear be
So-
able to attend the meeting
So
by,
moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So Chris, you're in the meeting.
Welcome.
So now's the time for public comment. Are there any members of the public here that would like to speak? No? Okay, thank you. And I'll move right on to the action items. So for, the first thing is to approve the June 17th minutes from last month. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in
We're alternating
favor?
back and forth.
I know. Aye. All in favor, say aye. Thank you.
Aye.
All right, let's move on to the next item on the action agenda is the employee benefits broker contract, which brings up Trish Collins, PSTA's HR director, who will go over the contract for PSTA employee benefits. Trish?
Good morning. Thank you, Chair Hazelden and commissioners and Commissioner Scherer online with us here. I'm Trish Collins. I'm the Director of Human Resources here at PSTA. Now, you'll remember that last month, the board approved the renewal of PSTA's benefit plans, our medical, dental, vision, and life insurance plans. This month, I'm coming before you to request approval to renew the contract with our benefits broker. This request is for a 3-year contract, authorizing the CEO to renew a 2-year option for a total contract amount not to exceed $525,000 over 5 years. We're also requesting, you'll see in the action item, a 2-month extension on the current contract for our incumbent, Garing Group, so that we can provide some distance between the benefits broker renewal cycle and our benefits open enrollment period for employees, which is also happening right now. It's advantageous for us not to have both of those things happening at the same time during the year. So you'll see this is a request for 2 things, both the contract with Garing and also the new contract with Garing and a 2-month extension with their current contract. In a moment, I want to turn things over to Al to talk about the competitive procurement, but first I'd like to take a second just to talk about the benefits that we receive strategically and from a cost savings perspective by having a benefits broker. I'll also note that the account manager for Garing Group, Sean Fleming, has joined us online today, so he's available to provide comment or answer questions. He, of course, intended to be here today as he typically is, but he's got a family emergency that happened unexpectedly and he wasn't able to come. So let me start first by saying that a benefits broker provides expertise, manpower, and technology services that helps PSTA manage our complex suite of benefit services. Their expertise and their staff hours supplement PSTA's own internal staff, and they provide services and knowledge that we can't replicate with our staff internally. Garing Group has been our partner since 2013, and since that time, they've managed our healthcare procurements. They negotiate with our vendors like Cigna to get us the best and lowest cost rate possible. And in the past 5 years, they've achieved single-digit insurance renewal rates for us, which are below the market average. And they've given us an increase, they've achieved for us an increase of 4.7% per year as an average over those 5 years. So they really have come through for us using their expertise, their relationships with different vendors to manage competitive procurements and to negotiate really great rates for us on those procurements. They also provide us with a benefits administration software. This is a really critical software tool that we use to manage the day-to-day work of benefits, like enrolling new employees and running routine reports. Gering's work on our renewals and on supporting our open enrollment spans nearly 6 months out of the year. But all year round, they're also tracking and providing reporting to us on our claims usage, on medical and pharmacy trends in the industry, assisting employees directly with claims. That's a big service that they provide to us. And they advise us on our strategic plan management. For example, we spoke last month when we were looking at our benefits renewals about the possibility of maybe becoming self-funded or looking at alternative prescription plans that may save the company some money. Gering Group reviews those options with us each year and advises us on what it would take and would be able to guide us through moving to a self-funded plan if we decided to do that in the future. Gering Group is the largest public sector benefits broker in the state of Florida, and they also contract with the cities of Clearwater, Dunedin, Oldsmar, Tarpon Springs, and many other municipalities, both here in Pinellas and throughout the rest of the state. I'm pleased to say that this current proposed contract renewal is an initial 3 years of no cost increase. They've held their price steady to the current rate for the first 3 years of this new contract, with only a modest $2,500 increase for years 4 and 5. And finally, before I turn it over to Al, I'll just preview that he's going to share with you that not only did the Gering Group score the highest in the technical review portion of the RFP, but they were also the lowest cost bidder. So we really believe that they are a fantastic partner, and we strongly recommend and happily recommend bringing this contract renewal to the board. Al, can I turn it over to you to share some information on the procurement?
Thank you, Trish. Good morning, Madam Chair, committee members. Al Burns, your highly motivated procurement director. On April 17th, we released a request for proposal, or RFP, and it was issued in compliance with our procurement policies and procedures. The solicitation was also posted on Bonfire, our website, and DemandStar. On May 13th, we received 3 proposals from Gallagher Benefit Services, Gering Group Incorporated, and Wallace Welch Willingham, and they were evaluated on the evaluation criteria that is listed in your packet. As Trish said, the Gering Group, they scored the highest in both technical and price, which we were very pleased about. The evaluation team met on June 2nd, and it was pretty much unanimous that we go with the Gering Group. Even though we're doing business with Gering currently, we still did a responsibility check on Gering to make sure that they're in compliance and everything is a thumbs up or a green light. In regard to the extension that we're asking for, Trish gave you an overview on why. I just want to reassure you that we still have money on the current existing contract. So we're not asking for any money to be added to the existing contract that we have for Gering. This $525,000 is strictly for the new contract. The fiscal impact of this is funded by operating funds. And once again, Madam Chair, committee members, the recommendation is recommend authorizing a 2-month extension of benefit broker contract with Gering Group for a revised expiration date of October 31st, 2026. That's for the current contract that they're under, extending that for 2 months. And the second part is recommend approval of a 3-year contract with 2 1-year options to Gering Group LLC and authorize the CEO to exercise the 2 1-year and exercise the 1 2-year option for a total contract amount not to exceed $525,000. If there are any questions, Tricia, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions? Yes.
Thank you. Is the $525,000 a set price, or is it based on commissions from plans?
That's a very good question, Commissioner. One of the things that Gearing did offer inside their proposal, they offered one option of a commission-based price and a flat fee. We discussed, Debbie, Trish, and I, and members of the evaluation committee discussed the option of commission, but we thought it was be in the best interest from a straightforward approach to go on a fixed price. So in short, to answer your question, this is a fixed price contract with a monthly fee.
It just seems, and my only comparison is, my own company, which is of equivalent size, actually, from an employee point of view, the same size.
Yes, sir.
As PSTA, and it's considerably more than what I'm paying for benefits and I get the same exact services. They're there all the time, they're, they evaluate everything, they go through, do open enrollment, all the whole thing. So it just seems, it's a lot of money. I'm not saying I don't know enough yet to say whether or not. I mean, obviously you guys are very happy with their services and
Yes, sir.
and I don't know what comparisons are with other municipalities and things like that. So, but from a private sector point of view, it just seems very high. That's just my thought about it.
I can't speak on the
No.
private sector side, obviously. Like Trish said, they're keeping their pricing flat for the first 3 years with, I think, a $2,500, with a $2,500.
Yeah, no, I mean,
increase.
they sound like they're being good partners from that point of view.
Yes, sir.
But I'm going from my own experience and that's, when you look at it's a lot of money. And, you all have probably more, like I said, comparisons in the public sector than I do in terms of looking at that, so, but even just because it's the same as other municipalities, doesn't mean we should overpay, I don't know. But it just, like I said, it seems very high, and I'd like to hear more, that's all. I'd like to listen to the rest of the questions, and I know you want to give feedback, so, and Debbie as well, so feel free.
Well, I think, don't we have a representative online?
We do. Sean, would you like to make any
Would you like
comments
to
to that?
answer that question?
Yeah, so, without knowing more details, of kind of how that's being paid for or commissions, what we typically see in the private sector is, compensation is based on a combination of commission and bonuses. And candidly, there's parts of the industry that are not as transparent as they need to be. Gearing Group, all we do is public sector, so one of our biggest focuses is transparency. So with that, we do not take any commissions on any of the products that PSTA offers their employees. We also don't take, if there was a bonus on PSTA, carriers often pay bonuses if you put you put a plan with a particular vendor. When we look at the fee, just as a percentage of medical, excluding the fact that we're not even, excluding the ancillary, that is an equivalent commission is about 0.75%. So it's less than 1%. In a lot of private industry, what we see is, commissions are tied to, they can be anywhere from 2 to 4%. And then on a number of the other lines of coverage, like dental, some of those things, you may see even a 10 to a 15% commission load. So with Gearing Group, with public sector, we believe in full transparency. So we charge that one flat fee, and that is our sole compensation on PSTA. And I think at less than a 1%, just on medical, we feel that what we see, whether it's public or private, we know that that's very competitively priced. So without other details of what someone else may be charging or kind of seeing that full compensation picture, I don't want to compare too much without knowing the facts, but That's just the one thing I would say when you look at that, it's basically the equivalent of about a 0.75% commission, which is well below where a lot of private sector is.
Yes, Brad.
Yeah, and thank you, Sean, for that. I was just gonna say that it seems about right because their price is $555,000 for 5 years. That's about $111,000
All right.
a year.
Then I stand corrected. I thought that was annually.
Oh, no, sir.
Okay, yeah.
No, sir.
And I was thinking, I was just
Stop
gonna
right
say.
there.
Okay, yeah.
It's a great price.
Well,
No, Commissioner
great.
Schuler got a question.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say that, our Cigna, our total Cigna bill is like $11 million,
Yeah.
so it's about one.
I gotta remember
Plus
that
one.
these are multi-year contracts. My apologies. Sean, great presentation.
Very good. So,
Move approval.
Let Commissioner Schuler have the question. Yes, yeah, no.
do I have a motion to approve the
Oh,
contract?
I think there's a
We can
question.
hear
Or
from-
do- I'm sorry. Oh, Chris?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I didn't see.
No, it's okay. That's my fault for traveling. I just had a question on the fee itself. Last month, we approved the healthcare costs, overall cost. Is that fee included in that overall cost, or is this addition to? And if it's an addition to, was it included
It's an addition.
in Debbie's preliminary budgets for the year?
Yes. Yes, Commissioner, this included in the budget. And
Okay.
it's staying
Was it-
flat.
Was it included in the overall cost for healthcare that we
No.
reviewed last week? Okay, so this is an addition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Typically, one of the things that happens when it's commission-based is that it gets factored into the rate that the insurance company
Right.
charges, and the employees end up paying more. So this does save the employees a little bit of money by having it as a separate cost.
I have a question. So, do you only work with Cigna or do you shop carriers?
No, ma'am, excellent question. So we work with the entire market. We're completely independent. Whichever plan is best for PSTA, we're able to work with in that regard.
Okay, so do you like bring the top three, let's say the top three carriers quotes to PSTA to review?
So with PSTA, and your highly motivated purchasing director, did I get that right, Al? I knew. I want to make sure I got all the adjectives right. We actually do a joint process with PSTA. So the bid does ultimately run through the procurement team. So we essentially help write that. And then that keeps everything that comes back running through PSTA's procurement process. And then we put together a full evaluation for the committee and essentially guide that committee, handle negotiations, and then that employee-based committee makes a final decision based on that. So we play a team role for PSTA's process.
Okay, and I guess my last question is, does that give Cigna the right to deny claims?
No, it does not. Any carrier may decline a claim for any particular reason. If there's an issue, I'd be happy to help with, but no, that process doesn't give them a right to do that.
One of the nice features of Gearing Group is having them is when employees do have some kind of problem with Cigna, Gearing Group kind of goes to bat for the employee to go against Cigna and try to get the claim met or whatever.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, I do have not a question, but a statement. And it's an oversight on my part, Brad, I apologize to the committee and to you, Madam Chair. The dollar amount that's on the action item is $525,000, but it's actually $555,000. So I will be changing that before it goes to the board.
It says 555 in the table.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? You have a motion to pass?
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So the next action item today is item 3C, vendor managed inventory contract with Henry Lukasik.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning,
Uh,
Henry.
I'm joined here today, I think for the first time, by Alex Mercano, one of our purchasing specialists. And we're gonna go through this item together. Also joining us is Harold Bodie from Neopart, and who we are recommending this contract be awarded to, who is also the incumbent. So it is a recommendation for a 2-year base and 3-year options for a total not to exceed of $3.1 million. Vendor managed inventory, in short, it is a strategy for purchasing and inventory management of our parts for all of the buses on our fleet, which really focuses on making sure we have the appropriate stocking levels, that we don't have more parts than what we need on the shelf, and that probably the most important thing these days is making sure that what we are paying for those parts is simply the best price out there possible. Typically what happens when we need to purchase, well, really anything, but in this case, parts, is maintenance will send up a requisition for a component. Purchasing will take that, they will put it out to the open market, either as a request for quotes or perhaps an IFB, what have you. And if you think that maintenance stocks probably close to 7,000 to 10,000 different parts, that can become very time consuming, especially from the administrative level. So 5 years ago, we took this as a pilot program for VMI. And really what it was is to take all of the parts that we know we're going to purchase, using historical trend analysis, projecting what our usages will be either on a monthly or annual basis, those quantities, and wrapping it up into just a very large solicitation, a bid, where vendors can come and look at all of the parts that we're going to purchase and put their best proposal forward. And it would be a multi-year contract. And the program objectives are just what you see on the screen. Reducing on-site inventory levels, because we know inventory can be expensive. Reduce that administrative burden that our purchasing department does on a daily basis. Improving parts availability, and then of course minimalizing parts unavailability. One of the other advantages of working with a VMI vendor is severalfold. Number one, they stock the parts at their distribution center. We don't pay for them until we need them. I like that commercial, only pay for what you need, right? Number two is because we are putting together what we need from a long-term standpoint, you get that benefit of bulk pricing. We all know if that you're gonna buy 50 of a component, you're gonna get a much better price than if you just go in and buy it 1 or 2 at a time. The other thing is when we talk about inventory management is making sure that we have just what we need on hand and not too much. Again, getting back to only buying what we need. Using our forecasts, we work with the vendor to make sure that they can have the appropriate level of inventory at their warehouses in case we need more of something. But most importantly, if we see an item that is not being used as much, they can decrease their quantities as well. So it's really a joint relationship and a joint partnership. The last 5 years has been pretty successful. That's why we're looking to continue with this program. We did realize all of those benefits, as you saw before. And some of the other reasons, again, the pricing is firm and fixed over the course of the yearly basis of the contracts. And of course, inventory is managed effectively. And then of course, we only buy what we need when we need it. I'm gonna turn it over to Alex, who's just gonna give you a couple comparisons and a couple follow-up slides on just some of the savings that we see when we purchase our components in this manner.
All right, thank you, Henry. Good morning, Finance Committee. My name is Alex Marcano, and I am a purchasing agent here at PSTA. After the evaluation committee selected Neopart as a recommended vendor for our our renewed vendor managed inventory contract, procurement verified that the pricing we received was competitive. The top 20 most expensive parts were gathered, and other suppliers were asked for their pricing, so we could have a fair comparison, and found out that we indeed received great pricing from Neopart. This slide highlights 8 of those 20 parts. Across this sample, Neopart's pricing averages approximately 40% below the market and below the market prices we collected, demonstrating significant value for PSTA. It is also important to note that VMI pricing includes freight, overhead, and other vendor costs and services. Even with these costs and services included, Neopart's pricing remained well below the market. Next slide. Thank you. Those savings include much more than just the cost of the parts themselves. The vendor managed inventory program also delivers significant operational benefits that help reduce our overall cost of doing business. First, by consolidating routine parts purchased under one contract, we'd reduce the amount of staff time spent sourcing parts, requesting quotes, and issuing purchase orders and tracking deliveries, making procurement and maintenance much more efficient. In addition, having a dedicated vendor managing inventory provides more predictable deliveries and improves planning, helping ensure that the parts are available when they are needed. Finally, the contract requires OEM-approved parts only, which supports quality, improves reliability, and reduces the time and costs associated with returning incorrect or non-conforming parts. Overall, this contract not only provides competitive pricing, but also creates a long-term operational efficiencies that support PSTA's goal of controlling costs while maintaining reliable service for our customers. All right, back to you, Henry.
Thank you. Before I turn it over to Al to see if he wants to add anything about the procurement process, I want to say Neopart Transit has been in the parts supplying business for transit and motor coach industry for close to 50 years. They're one of the largest. A lot of the common parts that we're sourcing under our own contract are parts and components that are used by many other transit agencies running similar equipment, which is why they're able to take advantage and offer us the best pricing in the industry. One thing with this contract is it is a not to exceed of $3.1 million that is divided by over the 5 terms. But I also want to stress that it is not saying that we will spend $3.1 million. It is a not to exceed limit. We may spend less, but this basically looking at what we're forecasting our usage is over the next 5 years and what we're gonna need is what it amounts to. Certainly, if we don't need to purchase anything, we won't. We are not committed to using anything to buy. We're not committed to buy anything under this contract. Al, if you got anything?
Thank you, Henry. Madam Chair and committee members and Commissioner Share. Alex Meccano has been inside the procurement department for about 2.5 years. He's grown a tremendous amount. And he told me that he wanted to take this, he wanted to be the one to be the contracting officer on this procurement. And Alex, I just want to, in a public forum, I just want to applaud you on a job well done. From a procurement perspective, on March 27th of this year, we released an RFP in compliance. And on May 14th, we received 4 proposals. One from Kirk's Automotive, Muncie Reclamation and Supply, Neopart, and Genuine Parts Company doing business as Napa. In your packet, you'll see the evaluation criteria that was used. And I would tell you the same like the last contract, I believe, yes, that Neopart, the last contract that we brought before you for benefits broker, the incumbent scored the highest technically and from a price perspective. One of the, we still did a responsibility determination, and they're in good standing and have a green light and thumbs up from that perspective. Also, one of the things I would like to highlight is that Neopart is making a true investment in the state of Florida by by opening up a new warehouse just outside of Ocala to be able to help us with those supply logistical needs that we need in order to get the parts here within 48 hours required by the contract. We have on the screen Mr. Harold Bodie, the CEO of Neopart. And Harold, I don't know if you have anything that you would like to add, sir?
Thank you, Al. I appreciate the opportunity to participate in this committee meeting. I don't have anything to add other than we're excited for the next phase of this contract. I think it is a big deal that we'll be there in Florida and able to deliver actually overnight. I think we'll have 24-hour delivery. And that'll enable PSTA to bring its inventory levels down as we're right there with what they need. So appreciate the opportunity and look forward to the next 5 years.
Thank you, Harold. Lastly, I'd like to just say that over the life of the contract, the 5 years, on average, the escalation is just 1% on average for the parts that are inside this contract. So the pricing was very aggressive, and when in negotiation, Harold reaffirmed that he wanted to be here in this market. So, Madam Chair, committee members, the recommendation we bring before you is recommend approval of a 2-year contract with 3 one-year options for vendor managed inventory with Neopart Transit LLC for a total contract amount not to exceed $3,100,000 and authorize the CEO to exercise the 3 one-year options. If there are any questions, Henry, Alex, or I would be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you. I see that we have a question from Commissioner Chris Scherer.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'm a little confused. This is a 2-year contract for 3.1 or 3 year?
It's 5 years, sir.
It's 5 years?
Yes, sir.
For a total of 3.1?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Total, so every year it's like 500,000?
600,000 as an estimate.
600,000 a year?
About $600,000 as an estimate per year.
And then on top of that, the vendor gets paid the markup on parts as well?
What did you say? I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, sir, I
You
didn't
cut
catch
out,
that.
Chris. Well, on top of that, what?
They get to pay a fee plus they get a markup on their parts that they sell us.
Just for clarification, and I apologize if I wasn't clear on that, we pay per part. So if we buy a bolt, the bolt cost is $1.74, and we only pay $1.74 for that individual part. There is no markup.
Yeah, there's no markup. This is kind of a good example, this chart.
So this contract, this is only for the management of the inventory? That's what their fee is? It doesn't have anything to do with the cost of the parts?
There is no fee.
This is the cost, this is everything, this is the parts and everything.
Correct. And the burden is included inside the part. If you could go back to that right there. So for the fire bottle is $1,124.69. Neopart's price is $725.52. That's how we pay, is $752.54 for that individual part. There is no markup, there is no freight cost or any of that. Just the parts cost.
So when the action item, sorry.
Yes, Chris.
We're just hiring outside management for our inventory.
I mean, basically the $3 million not to exceed number is just over 5 years. Of course, the buses will never have anything break on them ever. Will never spend any of this money. That would be the hope, but probably stuff will break. And then that's just an allotment on this contract. They will buy the parts as needed at the prices listed in the big book, in Neopart's book. And then if it goes over that number for some reason, then it would have to come back to the finance committee. It would come back to the PSTA board. But I don't see why that would ever happen.
Thank you. I think I know where Commissioner Scheer is going, is that, just for clarification, this is the cost of the part, the cost of their service, everything. So if we buy a bolt for $1.74, that's all we're paying for. We're not paying $3.1 million to Neopart on top of the cost of the parts.
Correct, sir. Correct.
Well, I have a question. I'm sure it's been a big development over the last few years about the electric bus batteries. So what is the cost of an electric bus battery? How often do they have to be changed? And what has that done to the cost of the contracts with them?
Well, our electric buses are still relatively new. Most of them are less than a year and a half to 2 years. So far, we've not noticed any battery degradation. Looking forward ahead, much like we're doing with our own current hybrid electric fleet, we have started the training process and are actually at this moment in time learning how to rebuild batteries in-house with our own staff, as opposed to purchasing or having to purchasing new units. Now, to answer your question, how long do we believe that they are going to last? If we look at our previous hybrid electric battery experience, it could be anywhere between 8 to 10 years. We have not been purchasing any components for the batteries as of yet because the buses are still new. And even if there is an issue, they're still under warranty for 6 years. In relation to how it's going to affect contracts over the next 1 to 5 years, we do not envision that that will be any impact to contracts such as this. This contract is just for common components. Think steering components, suspension components, brake components. So that's where we stand today at this time.
Any questions? Did you have a question?
I do. I was just
Okay,
waiting to be
Deborah, yeah,
recognized. Good morning, everyone. Deborah Fix Sanders, PSTA Chair. First of all, that was an excellent answer. Thank you. I did want to also congratulate Alex. What was your last name?
Marcano.
Marcano. You did a great job for your presentation, so I do appreciate that. If you can, tell me last year, were these the same terms? Since this is the incumbent, the 2-year, 3-year one, renew options that we had with them before?
Contract terms?
Yes, ma'am.
It was. What was the 5-year price last year? I just want to see what the increase from this contract to the last contract.
So the total value of the last contract over the 5 years was $3,500,000.
Okay. So
This
it's
year,
about the
we're
same.
asking for less $3,100,000.
Okay, so it was close. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Chris?
Yes,
Commissioner Scheer?
when we purchase the, parts, are we purchasing them from our vendor management company?
That is an excellent question, and that's the whole meaning of this, and that's the advantage that Neopart gains. As Henry said before, normally if we go out to buy a part, we have to put it out for bid, it has to stay out for a number of days, we get multiple quotes. This time, we put together a large list of commonly used parts, and we put it all out to bid at one time. So now, if we have that, at the end of the day, this is more of an exclusive contract for the parts that are listed in this contract. However, if Neopart is not able to provide that part, there are provisions in the contract where we could go outside the contract to get the part.
But you're saying that there's no markup on the parts themselves from our vendor? They're not marking the parts. How do we know what they're paying for the parts? Because they bid it out, or you bid it out together. You both know what the parts cost from the manufacturer.
So a lot of the parts, and Henry, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the parts that we have, you have to be a certified vendor. You have to be a certified partner in order to buy the parts. I don't know what their direct cost is and what I did not do a price analysis. I did not do a cost analysis on this. We did look at the pricing, and what we did compare was compared to the other people that submitted on this RFP. So for example, Napa bid $2. Another company bid $2.50 and Neopart bid $1.74. So we took the lowest price from the three. That was the pricing component of it.
Okay, it seems to me like we're paying them to manage our inventory and they're getting paid to sell us parts, but that I could be confused.
Harold?
Yeah, and Al, if you don't mind, I'll answer Commissioner Scherer's question, because I think I understand where he's headed. There are vendor-managed inventory programs that sometimes manage the whole range of parts that are used in a storeroom, and those parts are not yet defined. So in those situations, sometimes you see cost-plus type of proposals. Napa does that sometimes. In our situation here, this is a predefined set of parts, 161, I believe is the number. And essentially, we bid a price for that part, and that includes our obligation to have it on hand and delivered the next day. So it really is more akin to we competed on the price of the part at the outset on those specific parts.
Right, but what I'm thinking, it's a lot easier to give a more competitive price of a part if you're getting an automatic $600,000 a year and a fee to manage the part sales or purchasing.
Right.
Were the other vendors given the opportunity to bid to manage our inventory before they gave the prices for the parts? I mean,
So it went out as a competitive solicitation, sir. No one had the scope of work defined exactly what the requirements were of the contract. So no one, I'm trying to articulate it the best way that I can.
everybody got an opportunity to be the managing vendor as well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
And just to be clear, Commissioner Chair, that there is no fee or $600,000 markup or anything like that. That is not part of this. There is just we're just gonna buy the parts from Neopart, straight up for the prices of the part. There's no extra fee. That was what they bid.
Yes, sir.
Feels like the price.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
Madam Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Thank you, Chair, for allowing me to speak. This is something that I started with Al a long while ago. And Commissioner Scheer and to the committee members, you know I'm all about the bottom line, saving money. So what I like about this program is we're paying less than if I had one of the procurement people go out and do quotes every week. So I'm saving money over doing the quotes. It would have been sitting on the shelf anyway if I did a quote at some vendor and doing that. So bottom line is, we do this all at once, it saves procurement staff time and it saves PSTA money. So it's a great program that we're doing. It is competitive and it has definitely allowed people like Alex to do more value-added work than just doing quotes every single week.
Any other questions, discussion?
If you don't mind. So just to put a bow on this, because on the off chance that Commissioner Scheer is still not satisfied, a little hard to read. I might forgive me if I'm beating a dead horse, but I want to really clarify this. This contract allows us to put in an order for parts. We pay for those parts. That's it. We're not paying a management fee. We're not paying overhead. We're not paying a monthly fee for managing our parts. If magically we don't buy any parts, it doesn't cost us any money, right?
That's correct.
That is correct.
All right. Thanks everybody. Forgive me if I was harping on that too much.
Any other questions or discussion?
Discussion.
Do we have a motion to pass the
So moved.
item?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Madam Chair, when our chair, Mr. Reed called me with this flat tire problem this morning, I said, well, we have the parts contract on the agenda. I can ask him if he could deliver you a tire.
All right.
Most time we write around.
So next item on the agenda is item 3D, Clearwater Ferry Settlement with Diane Randall. Diane?
Good morning.
Good morning, PSJ's Risk Management Director.
Diane Randall, Director of Risk Management. Let me begin by saying thank you to Commissioner Scheer for bringing up and sharing with us the county's claim procedure at our last meeting. As a result of that discussion, we're gonna try something new today. So basically, the description of the claim and the settlement is in your packet. And I believe that either Brad or Jennifer Cowan, our general counsel, have had discussions with every board member during their one-on-ones on the details of the settlement. So I'm just here to be able to answer any questions you may have. And if there are no questions, I would respectfully entertain a motion to approve to the full board.
Any questions? Yes, Mike?
Without going into the details. We previously talked about the exposure that PSTA has for, we're gonna have this conversation coming up with Frostbite when I come back, or Tampa Bay Fair, excuse me. You know, is this just a matter of, I mean, are we settling to save costs? Because, you know, we're supposed to be shielded from
We
the
are supposed to
liabilities
be
there. I
shielded.
mean, anybody can sue for anything they want, I get that part of it, and it's gonna cost us to, you know, file motions to dismiss and all those kinds of things and stuff like that. So, I mean, is that really where we're going? Because, you know, it should be airtight, well, nothing's airtight, but it should be pretty tight that, you know, we're you know, shielded from the liability of these types of things. When there's a third party operator operating those services.
We should be, you're correct. There were some issues with the carrier or the
I
vendor.
remember
And also, I would say the main issue here is that in tort law, you have comparative negligence. And in maritime law, you have joint and several, which means all the defendants are treated as one. And when it's like that, someone could choose to have one of the defendants pay everything. So this settlement is definitely in our best interest to move forward with.
Thank you.
Okay, and Commissioner DeBrizzi, next month, hopefully next month, we're planning on bringing an amendment to the road freight contract that memorializes in writing the first time that they are to pay us back, essentially to remit monthly fees back to us to pay these off.
That makes me happy.
Makes me happy too.
Okay. Any further questions or discussion?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. And the next thing on our agenda is the trim notice and service adjustment hearing with Debbie Leos, CFO. Thank
Well,
you.
good morning, everyone. We've had some good robust discussion this morning, and we'll just continue it right along with hopefully some better news on things. So today we are going to be talking about the trim notice. And one of the things at the June meeting, I came to you with a balanced budget using our current millage rate. And we were able to achieve that balanced budget with cost savings, ideas that came from the board workshops to continue to lower costs, and the use of one-time COVID relief funding. there may be other opportunities to save money, one of which is through a public hearing, which we're going to be asking your permission for today, on eliminating the routes for the Snapper service, which is a microtransit service in Safety Harbor, as well as the Route 90. So the purpose of today's action item is to approve the maximum millage that can be transmitted to the property appraiser to put on the trim notice. Again, this is the maximum millage, and it can be lowered from here, but not increased. It's also subject to public hearings that we'll have 2 in the month of September, and of course, board approval. There is new legislation out there that will require 2/3 of the board vote to approve the millage rate in September. What I'm very pleased about is since the last time we met, we've been able to reduce costs some more. I was able to do some fuel lock-ins. We've looked at various areas, and we've reduced it down to 0.7250 to be submitted, God bless you, to the property appraiser is the maximum millage. And this rate is not only lower than this year, it's the 3rd year in a row we've lowered rates. It's the lowest rate in the last 16 years. So while we've lowered the rate, we've been able to do that through one of the key areas is on the diesel fuel. I have now locked in 50% of our diesel fuel at $2.92 a gallon. And that's for our buses here at PSTA. So I'm very excited about that. I am hoping that I can lock in more over the summer. And of course, just as I'm doing things, other things are happening across the world that cause the prices to go back up. So I still have conservatively in the budget $3.50 for the diesel fuel for the unhedged portions. We also have opportunities through a public hearing on 2 of our lowest performing routes to have some cost savings, as well as we continue to look throughout the budget. So when I'm looking at this, I'm saying, gosh, we're improving every single year on what the rate is. But what is the full rolled back rate? And it's 0.7168, and we are right now with the max millage to be transmitted 1.14% above that. So it's getting better every single year. Again, this rate that we're transmitting to the property appraiser today avoids any service adjustments. It gives us a cushion considering the volatility of fuel. And I'm very pleased with the mixed fleet that's been helping us significantly. And just allows us to have a little bit of a cushion, but there are opportunities. So when we talk about opportunities, I kind of call this the Commissioner Peter principle, because she has told us that when you reduce the millage rate, it gives you the opportunity to roll forward. And that way, in times of need, which there very well may be coming up, we are going to have the Amendment 3 come to the ballot in November. And with every action, there's a consequence. And that's a term I use with my children when they were growing up all the time. Actions and consequences. Consequences could be good, consequences could be bad. If Amendment 3 passes, it will have significant impact on the service we are able to provide here at PSTA. We will be looking at significant route cuts, going back to probably more of a core, as well as significant staff reductions, probably increases in what we charge our customers as well. So we will be discussing all of that at the August meetings. We're developing a lot of scenarios as to what that would look like if Amendment 3 passes. But in the meanwhile, our action item today is twofold. One is to approve the maximum millage to be transmitted to the property appraiser. Again, that can be lowered but not increased at 0.7250. And the other is to hold a public hearing on the elimination of our 2 lowest performing routes. And with that, I will take any questions.
Do you have any questions? Yes, Commissioner.
Just a comment. You know, I'm happy that in this time of instability that we're, you know, you're coming back with a rollback. You know, I wish I could get my own city to understand the importance of doing it. I run into resistance every year with that. So, I'm congratulations and thank you for doing that. And it is right, we may, may have to look at a lot of options, in the next couple of years. But, that can be addressed by saying, but when we've had the funding, when we had the money, we did what we could to save taxpayers' money. So, that goes a long way, it builds, builds credibility and, thank you and congratulations for looking at what's needed to do to help taxpayers in the county.
It was a team effort, trust me, everybody in this room, staff members have been working very, very hard on this.
Any other comments or questions?
This is about the route the two routes, so we're gonna get, we have to have a public hearing, but, have we gotten any feedback or the cities know that that's even being considered yet?
I think I just announced it now.
No,
I'm sure Safety Harbor and St. Pete Beach may wanna have they're, I don't know if they're, and they're, if they're gonna have any thoughts, so, I didn't know if we had any feedback on it.
I have talked with Commissioner Marion on our PSA board from St. Pete Beach and the city manager about the Route 90. Route 90 goes from St. Petersburg to essentially work trips in the morning and afternoon to the hotels. And so they know that might has low ridership and may be eliminated. And they know that. Safety Harbor a little bit less. They knew that we were trying this different microtransit thing that just hasn't really been effective. I would hope that we would still provide Direct Connect service and PSA access service in Safety Harbor for them.
Yeah, low ridership doesn't always necessarily mean there's low demand. Scheduling and it's on 30-minute service and all other kinds of things, so I know that's part of it,
Correct.
But I'm just curious about if there was any feedback already about it.
Well, and then that's the idea for the public hearing is to see, hopefully, diesel fuel prices will go back down again in the next couple of months. But let's have the public hearing. Let's see, what the feedback is.
Okay, so do we have,
I do
yes,
have a question.
yes,
Okay. Is the if we didn't cut the snapper and the Route 90, would we be able to stay within a balanced budget at the rollback rate of 0.7250?
Yes, the current rate that we're recommending includes those services.
Okay.
any other comments or questions?
I'm in approval of both.
I'm good.
Second.
Is that second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And for
Any
anybody who has
opposed?
questions, I'll be also presenting this at the planning committee meeting if you think of any.
Yeah.
Okay.
For you too.
Motion passes, thank you. Okay,
Stamps there.
and now we're ready for reports. Item 4.
There's one more, Commissioner, there's one more item, Live Local.
Oh, I'm sorry, Live Local. I saw her, Debbie, you're up again.
I am. Sit
Okay,
down for
that's
this
why I
one.
missed that, I saw your
So,
name.
The Live
You will
Local-
present the annually required Live Local exemption resolution, similar to last year, Debbie?
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Chair. A lot of you are very familiar with the Live Local Act, and the purpose of the act is to increase affordable housing. And the act provides for exemptions for developers to develop affordable housing. And one of the exemptions allows for a 75% property tax exemption. And government agencies like PSTA have the option to exclude that exemption. And this is what the Live Local exemption is all about for PSTA. And in doing so, we meet all the requirements for this. There's a resolution in your package related to that. And what this will do is the fiscal impact will be to increase revenues approximately $29,000. So with that, I'll entertain any questions or motion. Yes?
Okay, so thank you, Debbie, and how are you? So with us removing this exemption, have we looked at a consequential circumstance, how would that impact the housing stock that we've contributed to by providing that exemption?
It doesn't impact
At all?
the service, no.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure if we're removing that, and if I'm reading this correctly, in the second whereas, where it states that one of the two tiers of exemptions under the act allows units that serve households between 80 to 100% AMI within an eligible development to receive the 75% property tax. So it doesn't seem as though we are really removing anything. Okay, but I just wanted to understand what the impact was and what brought this request on other than the $29,000.
Yeah, last year it was like $12,000. So we're increasing because I believe there's now 4 developments that this would apply to. So for our little piece of the dollar bill that comes in, it comes out to be about $29,000 of increased revenue, but doesn't impact anything is related to the developers.
Yeah, to Debbie's point, last year was the first year of this. Commissioner Scott and maybe other county commissioners came to us and said that the county had, in some cities had done this exemption from this. And it was very early on, it's still kind of early on. Governmental entities have to pass this resolution each year to be exempted. You said there's four developments in the county that are in some, comply with this in some level of development. So it would preserve $29,000 that otherwise we would lose our property tax.
And I guess I
Commissioner
asked
Bracy?
because one thing I do love about St. Petersburg is that we don't always follow suit what everyone else does. We look at what's best for the constituents and how we can provide an adequate service. So that's why I was asking, what would be the unintended consequences of us removing that option for developers in those 4 different developments that you just spoke about if we removed it from the list? Because there was a reason why it was added in the first place. So I just wanted to find out what the reasoning for that was, because I understand, other people are doing it, but that's just not a valid excuse for me.
Right, we're looking at it from the revenue impact side. I think from the developer side, they're getting a significant tax exemption in a lot of different areas. This has a small impact on their profitability to be able to move forward to help the community.
Okay, thank you, Debbie.
Commissioner Bracy?
To add to that, and I think you're well aware as well, in order to be able to, at least for the cities to be able to opt out, there has to be the report, I forget the name of the report, that says that there's enough housing stock in the county, affordable housing stock in the county to be able to opt out. So I imagine, because I know it's on our agenda too in Largo, so that report has come back that there still remains enough housing stock to be able to opt out. So, those new developments have added to it, and we're still at a place where the measurement is okay.
It's Schindberg Center.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have a motion to pass.
Move approval.
We have a first, we have a second to move approval?
We lost Commissioner Shearer.
Oh, we lost Chris. Sure.
If
Yeah, if you
you
have a
don't mind, could I
question. Yes,
clarify one thing?
yes, right.
I just want to clarify, staff's recommendation is to opt out of the Live Local property tax exemption. Is that accurate?
Yes.
All right, I just, my only comment is I'm real conflicted about this, because I want affordable housing and I also want good transit service and so it's putting me in an awkward spot, but yeah, I'm gonna support it, so I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we move to the reports. And we have Julie Lupus, who's going to be giving us a report. She's Director of Accounting, and walk us through the monthly financial report. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Julie Lupus, Director of Accounting. If we're looking at May's financials, we finished with a $5.57 million net deficit, which is $161,000 unfavorable to our budgeted deficit. Revenue is $129,000 favorable to budget, driven by the timing of property taxes, Expenses are $291,000 unfavorable to budget, driven by supplies and of course fuel expense. When returning to May's year-to-date financials, we finished with a $31.3 million net surplus, which is $812,000 favorable to the budgeted surplus. Revenue is $258,000 unfavorable to budget, driven by the timing of some trolley contracts and the ferry not being in service yet. Expenses are $1 million favorable to budget, driven by salaries, services, and privatized transportation expense. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Julie. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next item is PSTA contracts, and Mr. Burns will outline the PSTA contract list in your packet.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. I'm looking at the quarter three open contracts as of June 30th. One of the positive things is that we are monitoring our contracts diligently, and you could tell from the far right column that we have not exceeded the value that the board has authorized us to. If you compare the two reports from last quarter to this quarter, if you look at the Gillig electric bus contract, that was taken off last quarter, but we ended up buying some more components off of the state contract that PSTA did for the state. So that was off and we had to add it back on because we bought some additional equipment in the form of generators and whatnot. Also, but if you also look at the amount remaining, you can tell that we're well under the not to exceed amount that the board authorized. There's a couple other highlights in there. We're also, in this new report, we also have the renewals and all software renewals that we have, and we have not exceeded the amount for those. However, you'll see that some of them are marked at 100%. Software, as we learned, is one of the few things we used to prepay for, but now with the new edict and when we're in negotiations with the software companies, we try our best not to have to prepay for those. And then the pages 5 through 8, all the open agreements that we have that are not necessarily tethered to a procurement. So the staff and I, we need to work on the percentage amount. But overall, we're managing the contracts well, making sure that we're not going past the term of the contract, and most importantly, the not to exceed amount. If there are any questions specifically, I should be able to answer them.
Any questions? Okay, I should announce that I've got a text here from Commissioner Scheer and he lost the internet connection.
Oh, okay.
So thank you for communicating that to us. And any other questions on Mr. Burns? Any comments? So other business, do any committee member have any other business they want to bring before the board, before the committee? Seeing none, our next meeting is August 19th at 9 o'clock, and we'll stand adjourned. Thank you.
Tight meeting.